Purdue as Mitchell looks for an answer.
Ooh, pure, nothing but net.
Garland to the basket, stole the inbound pass. He lays it in.
Basketball down there.
Very high percentage shot for him from that spot. Merrill for three. Tristan Thompson on the floor. Diaz for three. That's short. Hard rebound. Ricochets out to Merrill for three again.
For the We Like Sports Show, tune in and see the latest the crew has to say regarding the latest sports topics nationally and locally. Make sure to check out our website as well, WeLikeSportsPC.com. Subscribe on all platforms, including podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and much more. And be sure to follow us on X at WeLikeSportsPC.
Started with Anderson and Ramirez.
He said, let's go, right? Yeah, I'm sure he wants the game to start, but they won't let it. And rightfully so.
Welcome back once again to the We Like Sports Show. My name's Payton Vince, waiting for the boys to come around. Apparently, I might be solo today, and what fun is that? There's plenty to talk about. There's the Guardians winning at home. There's the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's the NBA playoffs right around the corner. And Cleveland, I'll tell you this much. There's no place like home. You look at the Guardians' home record, 6 games in, 5-1. Cleveland Cavaliers, do we even want to go there? You play at home, that is going to be the fundamental edge that you have is 34-7. And Keegan already popping in. F the Cubs. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Never going to be a Cubs fan by any means ever since 2016. But it is what it is. I saw that Suzuki is out for a bit, I believe, due to fantasy sports, of course. But, going back to my original topic, though, there's no place like home when it comes to Cleveland. The Cavaliers, waiting to see who they play, having a 1 seed at some point. And Sunday will be the first playoff game. And things are going to get very interesting in Cleveland the upcoming week come next Monday. You got the New York Yankees in town facing Cleveland next Monday. Next Tuesday is likely not going to be a show day, but Monday at the Guardians game against the Yankees, it could be likely. So stay tuned to social media, have the notifications on YouTube. And Cam, are you here?
I'm here. Give me a few minutes here. I just got home from work, so a little late tonight. But we are here and ready for a show that has not been on in how long now?
It's only been a week. We did a show on April 1st. Last
I feel
week
like
we
it's
missed.
been way longer.
Just because we see each other every single day last week doesn't mean that we haven't done a show.
We're damn near married at this point. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's a weird throuple, you, me, and Avi. But isn't that what like sports shows are supposed to be? Like, I don't know if Stephen A. Smith is hanging out watching baseball games with his co-anchors on ESPN.
No, definitely not. You think they want you? Listen, they talk about baseball for like maybe feels like 2 weeks out of the year. They're not talking about baseball.
If that. And I have this strange feeling too. Maybe if I just doubt him early on, he'll end up coming around. I haven't heard from Avi since a show name at 3:00.
Yeah, he's already kind of in his evil empire phase, it feels like.
Yeah, and what a heel turn it would be with not showing up to the show or even showing up to something ridiculous like a Yankees uniform.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, man. It's kind of crazy. If you follow anything with the Christian or Catholic or whatever religion will go with Easter, you think about it, what's absolutely crazy to me is that on all days, Avi will be a Cleveland fan on the last game against Baltimore. And then right after Easter, he turns to the dark side like Darth Vader.
It'd be against the Pirates. We're facing Baltimore tonight.
Or, excuse me, yes, Pirates. Thank you.
I got you. We'll
But
miss out
yes,
on Paul Skeens.
he's going from one of the, Palm Sunday, I believe, is what that is. And then, then he's going to go right to the dark side. So we will text him at midnight, giving him thumbs down and a couple other texts we won't say on the air. But yeah, definitely he's going to get some shit from us come Monday, Tuesday.
I'm hoping he doesn't end up ruining my birthday by any means. I'm trying to convince him. You've heard me say things too. Trying to go, you know what? Don't wear that shit around me on my birthday.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. He's 100% going to wear that on your birthday.
I'm just trying to be somebody that wants to be easily pleased, you know? Like, I don't want to end up having to dislike my good friend on my birthday, but I think that's what's going to have to happen.
You either live long enough to become the villain, or you die early enough to be a hero. And Avi has chosen the villain path, unfortunately.
And it's just a flashback all over again from the playoffs. This is all that it reminds me of.
Yeah, and you got to remember, I have a neighbor who's also a good friend of mine that is a Yankee fan. So it wasn't like I just had one Yankee fan or two Yankee fans. No, I got like three or four that were giving me a bunch of shit.
What are we doing
Oh, what are we doing? Where?
in general with these Yankees fans in Cleveland?
What they do is they're in disguise, right? So,
Yeah.
for dramatic, I'm here. Hello. So yes, dramatic effect. They definitely like to pull the old, hey, you're a cool guy. Like, yeah, I like this team. And then the moment that their actual team arrives in town, they're like, so I'm like, no.
Like
It's like I need holy water with me. Be gone, demon.
at least I'm up front. And like you guys knew going in that I'm a Steelers fan. It's not like I've ended up wearing like Browns gear by any means and go, hey, you know what? When they end up playing each other, I'm going to take out this Ben Roethlisberger jersey and show you and shower in glory. No. But if you don't know Avi, I've heard people give him a fake Guardians comment before, which is absolutely wrong. I'll give him credit that his fandom for Cleveland sports, it's legit.
It
But
is.
you also don't see the Yankees too often. So I'll end up taking the good with the bad. But I just don't like that you do it for 3 days.
So let's just I don't think he's showing up. I'll be honest with you. He's
I
gonna
don't
pull
think
it.
so either.
He's gonna pull this on us today. That's really messed up. Now we really got to give him shit on Monday and Tuesday. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But so why don't we dive in here? We talked about what was the title of the show again? I forgot. What did we decide to go with?
Cleveland, there's no place like home.
Well, let's dive into some of that, right? So let's go into some team numbers.
I mean, for one, the obvious one, 5-1 to start.
Okay. There's no place like home. Well, I'd love for that to be true.
Holy shit, hold on. This is insane. So there's no place like home, right? I didn't look at the standings beforehand. The San Diego Padres are 11-0 at home.
Well, they've also played. They've also played like 3 road games. I'm pretty sure.
6, but still, that's insane.
Yeah. So you want to talk? Let's go. Let's go to runs, right? So right now, if you want to talk Cleveland, Cleveland is currently 26 in runs scored at home. However, they are still 23rd in batting average. So home games, they are not really doing great here. However, I will say when it comes to the pitching aspect of it, why don't we take a look at that? ERA, Cleveland is 10th in ERA at home. So the offense has shown ups and downs this year. But the pitching aspect of it, they definitely are much better at home. So hopefully that continues here. But we will have a week to wait on that. You want to talk about away games? Or did that just completely, excuse me, I apologize about that. I apparently didn't select home games. Again, just got home from work.
Again, we
Cleveland is
haven't done a
Cleveland.
show in a week. It's been about a year.
Avi not being here is throwing me off too. Damn you, Avi. Number 2. Cleveland is number 2 in ERA at home. But earned runs, they are the lowest in earned runs at home. In 6 games, they've only allowed 9 earned runs. Now, granted, it is against the Royals and the White Sox.
Royals aren't a joke, though. White
They're
Sox,
not.
yeah, I'll give them that.
Yeah, the Royals aren't a joke. They're just they're very, very slow start right now. They look like they're starting to pick it up yesterday for a minute. Bobby Witt with his second home run of the year. But then their bullpen imploded. That's been their downfalls. If they don't score enough runs, their bullpen implodes. But yeah, no, definitely home games for them for Cleveland has been great. Road games, on the other hand, not so much. They're sitting 24th in earn runs. And sitting at 22nd in ERA. And then runs scored on the road. Cleveland is 5th, so they do have to kind of their pitching is not great on the road. Let's just be honest here. But at home, they are. That's pitching. Excuse me. On the road, home, way, 17th in average, and then it runs.
I mean,
8th. They're tied 8th with the Red Sox. They
whoever
have been performing better at home.
Yeah, and when you end up looking at like the games, the majority of the games during that last homestand, obviously the home opener, we froze our asses off.
I was warm
for the payoff because dude, there's so many different reasons why you were warm. Your belly was warm. You had a heated vest on. You were warm. I understand why.
We did not drink responsibly that night.
I didn't drink at all.
You
guys
drink
on the other
responsibly.
hand, you guys on the other hand, I know a cowboy that Coy boy is the man. I'm gonna have to end up sending this to him for his personal shout out because he might end up enjoying this way so much for that. But anyways,
we'll hear it on Monday. Yes.
Walk-off walk. Longest game that it seemed like it was the longest game because of nothing happening and 1-0 on a walk-off walk. Next day. Pulled hamstring, had a good amount of run support until Clase came in. He may or may not be broken. I'm still not on the fact that he is yet. Give it time.
I will talk to you about that before we move on to the next part, but continue what you're saying on that.
But it took a pulled hamstring to win that game. The afternoon game against the White Sox, you ended up winning big. The bats came alive. It wasn't warm out, but at least the bats were warm. Then come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, you ended up putting up 7-1, 7 runs. Looked great. Angel Martinez has looked great. Saturday, you ended up winning by 3. And then Sunday came around. That's your first loss. So be it. You can't win them all. But they were putting up runs.
You can. Yes, you can. Mathematically, you can.
Mathematically, the Padres are doing it right now, but not everybody is the Padres.
This is true.
But the bats, I feel like right now, are above average because it's cold in Cleveland and that they're hitting decently at home.
So you technically cannot help me with my lineup, so I'm going to give it to the fans here.
Keegan was here, by the way. I don't know if he's still here or not, but
Well, we're gonna find out. Keegan, if you are here,
Marco.
I have Polo. I have a fantasy. I have a fantasy question for you. I have a chance to start. I have to start two of these guys here. I can start. Will. God, I'm gonna botch his name. Is it Weiler Abreu from the Red Sox? Weiler.
Willier?
Willier. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Willier Abreu from the from the Red Sox. Wrong Sox. I can start Kyle Manzardo or Brent Rooker. You can't answer because you're in my league. That would technically be collusion. You can't answer.
Technically,
So.
this isn't the league. Technically, I am 3-0 in a league that I didn't even want to join in the first place. How about that, by the way? And hold on, everyone. Cam told me it was either Saturday or Sunday. You might arguably have the best team in fantasy. We've talked about it.
Me and my buddy definitely talked about it. Well, the thing is
but hold on. Remember, less than a month ago, somebody in these very comments said, this dude does not know ball. Guess what? Maybe I do.
Keegan, I'm sorry if you're still in here, but yes, because looking at his roster right now, his starting pitching is unbelievable. This is how you know. I mean, I'm looking at everyone's rosters right now. Payton is the only team to have every single person on their team drafted right now. He has not hit the free agency once. He is the only one that has not. Now, he does have some question marks, I will say, but he also has had a lot of help from his pitching to start. Rutschman, Guerrero, Altuve, Arenado, Carrera, Nimmo, Edmonds. That was a sneaky pick, by the way. JJ Bleday, James Wood, Bryce Terang. Ryan Jeffers is a question mark for me on that one. So far, you have a solid base with your catcher through your first two outfielders. What really sets you apart from the rest of us here, though, is Paul Skeens. We already knew coming into this he was going to do his thing. Class A, you drafted him. You better hope he's not broken.
If he is, it's still fine. 3-0 speaks volumes, but go on.
Still got 20 weeks or 19 weeks left.
I don't care if there's 6 weeks left to winter.
I do. Don't pull it. Freaking hate this. Hunter Brown, that could potentially explode at some point and bring you back to reality. He's been good so far. Jake Flaherty, we'll see if he can continue what he's done so far this year. Justin Martin, good bullpen guy. He's throwing gas out of the bullpen. Didn't even know he was throwing that hard. Tanner Bybee's been up and down for you. Roki Sasaki's been up and down for you. Nathan Eovaldi has been killer for you, though. Pitching a Maddox was huge.
But let's mention where I drafted Tanner Bybee and Sasaki at. They weren't first, second, third rounders.
They were up there.
They were late. They were still there.
No, I wouldn't say late.
Early. My first couple
Sasaki
picks
was late.
Glad and Skeens.
No. Okay. Let's see if you know what rounds you took without looking.
How long ago did we draft? There ain't any shot that I'll end up remembering that. Don't even know what I ate for dinner yesterday.
You said late. I wouldn't. So, okay, you have 25 picks for your team. What round would you consider late?
Maybe late is a misspeaking term, but like I'm pretty sure I took them like 10th through 13th round.
Ivy was your 8th round pick.
Okay, not far off.
Sasaki was your 9th round pick.
But
And you drafted end of 8, beginning of 9 because
where
you
did
were
I
the
take
10th
James
pick.
Wood? Because I'll give you some fantasy.
That one might be crazy. 16th round, middle of the pack. That's a good pick.
Holy shit. 16th round, and he ended up having a multi-home run game. He's a rookie. The ceiling's only getting higher.
Yep. I will say that based on position ranks and points and all that stuff, right now my catching position has been depleted. Losing Bay Langolier's been all right, but losing Ivan Herrera was a killer for me. Oh boy, what are we looking here?
Hold on, we'll get to that. I found it on Twitter, and it's actually quite interesting.
But yeah, looking at this, here's the one thing, dude. No matter what it is, baseball, fantasy football, it does not matter to me. I am, in my mind, the king of free agency waiver wire pickups. I kill it. I added Ladd McConkey this year in free agency, and I added not Chase Brown. Ladd McConkey was a free agency pickup, and another running back. Oh, Bucky Irving was a waiver wire pickup for me. And those guys ran into the championship. Now, in our baseball league, Chris Bubik and Matthew Boyd look like they're going to be my free agency studs that I added. Abreu started off hot, stayed hot. Now he's starting to cool down a little bit. So we'll see. And you got to remember, too, I still have Grayson Rodriguez, Ranger Suarez, and Shane Bieber coming back.
I think you guys are honestly don't know what anybody else thinks, but I think that you guys are jumping into the waiver wire way too early in the season for baseball.
Well, you got to remember, though, my guys that I have been drafting, like I drafted, again, I have free agency pickups because of so I really haven't said one. The only person I've actually dropped that was a position player was Ezekiel Tovar.
Yeah.
And then I picked up Kyle Freeland. I picked up Ryan Pepio. And I picked up one more player, JP Sears. And that was just the kind of fill where I needed to fill. And I only picked some of these guys up because of my IL situation. Now, once they started going bad.
Go on.
I was going to say, once they started doing bad, I dropped them. And I was able to pick up some guys that have been studs. So
also,
yes,
a name that we have not mentioned that is on my fantasy team, but is also hurt currently.
Jackson Merrill.
He was a
fifth rounder.
That's not bad.
No, that's a steal, in my
guys
opinion.
should have drafted him earlier, but apparently, again,
who did I take in the
I don't
fifth?
know ball.
Who did I take in the fifth? Here's a sneaky one for me. I took Matt Chapman, 16th round.
That's not bad at all. I like that.
So my first pick was Bobby Witt. My second pick was it had to be a pitcher. Was it Logan? It was Logan Gilbert. That's a solid pick. Mariners.
Okay.
Ace. Third round pick was Steven Kwan. What was my fourth round pick? Rooker 9th overall was not bad. I think my fourth round pick was also a pitcher. But League 4. Here, I have the draft order. Aaron Nola, that's a huge freaking miss by me. Huge miss. I took Aaron Nola from the Phillies. So far, Aaron Nola this year, 2015 and 19. He's been getting killed. I will say I bounced back with Bregman in the 5th, who's been good. 6th round was Max Fried. 7th round, Christian Walker. 8th round, Christopher Sanchez. Brent Rooker was my 9th round. Brenton Doyle in the 14th has been good, except for he's about to go to the IL. But nevertheless,
Doyle rules.
Oh, Doyle does rule. Oh, Doyle does rule when he's healthy. But I seen you sneak peek Cy Young odds
It
in
wasn't
there.
Cy Young odds. It
Was
was
it rookie?
MVP.
Okay.
But before we dive into that, though, breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I have found a guest for the last 30 minutes.
Is it Avi?
Is a surprise.
Is it Bobby?
We'll find out when they join in about 10 minutes or so, hopefully. Because I only intend on going until 7, but we aren't going to end up just talking baseball, fantasy sports. We're going to expand the horizons.
It's Bobby.
Is it?
You said Bobby? Fantasy. It's Bobby.
We'll find out.
Bobby's in our fantasy league. Okay. Well, MVP the good news here.
DraftKings.
Before you go into this, real quick, happy Jackie Robinson Day.
Yes.
Now you can continue.
Happy Jackie Robinson Day for all those that celebrate and wear 42 on today's date.
Maybe someday we'll all wear 42.
Dude, you're going to make me cry.
We're all wearing 42 today.
Isn't that
we're wearing 42? It's from the movie. It's from the movie.
I hate it.
Even though once the game is over tonight, I will probably, because I got a late start tomorrow. We actually have 2 hours that like I told you, we're given to go do shit. I might, while I clean out my work truck, I'm going to watch 42.
You're a day late, but it doesn't matter.
Hey, I'm watching it after the game today, so I'll end it like just before midnight. So I'm on the cusp of it. But go ahead, yes.
So Tristan McKenzie Stan on Twitter, McGoat Z burner account, giving them credit here. They said, who is 20,000 plus for AL MVP? If you look at it, he's in the bottom right. You can't really see it, but that name says Miles Straw.
I will say, Gary Carpenter that low is diabolical.
Yes. And I mean, look at this is why I guess I'm being more optimistic for all these Guardians haters early on. Stephen Kwan plus 9,000. Kyle Manzardo plus 10,000. John Kenzie Noel plus 10,000. That's 4 guards players, right? 4 because I'm already including Jose Ramirez that has better odds, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, I had to look at the first comment on his Twitter post. Why is Stanton there? LOL. Elderly bias. That's just perfect.
That is baseball, though.
Listen, everyone talks about it, and we talk about it. People are sick and tired of hearing that Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated players in baseball. People understand how good he is. But here's the thing. We don't make it to the postseason without how good he's been the last couple of years, I think. I think that without him, you don't win a lot of your games. You don't have a lot of those clutch home runs, those late home runs, those late RBIs that get you into the lead late in the game where you can let your bullpen win. So for all the people that are sick and tired of hearing that Jose is underrated, he has deserved an MVP. I understand that Aaron Judge has had 60-plus home runs in a season. I understand that, Altuve has been good. But let's take into a factor.
This wasn't the guest.
Oh, you have a surprise then.
He wasn't. There's a bonus.
You have a surprise then. There's a bonus.
Wait, what's
that? There's a joker round. We'll see who it is. But we were talking about how everyone's sick and tired of hearing how Jose Ramirez is the most underrated player or is very underrated in this game. Well, he is very underrated to a lot of people. But again, here's the thing. Like, I understand that Judge has had his 60-plus home runs, and that deserves an MVP. And I understand Altuve has had a good year, and that deserves an MVP. But it seems like if you haven't been in a World Series in the last 7-8 years, and you haven't been on a huge market team, you're not going to win the MVP. It does not seem very likely.
I think Trout is the argument against that.
But again, last 7-8 years is my argument.
Yeah, I guess Trout, his MVP run was so
14,
long.
13.
That was almost 15 years ago now.
Yeah, Jose Ramirez has been in the top 5 of MVP voting every single year. But like I was telling Payton, without his late home runs, without his late RBIs, without how clutch he's been, without how good he's been, we don't make it to the playoffs a lot of those years. And if you look at it, no disrespect to Aaron Judge and winning his MVP. I'm not trying to say he didn't deserve it. But when you have Stanton and Soto and Rizzo and all these juggernaut squads with, Altuve with Bregman and Abreu and Correa and
Yordan Alvarez,
those guys winning MVP, being the most valuable player, they were like 1A, 1B with their most valuable player on their team. They weren't really like that far off. Like, yes, Judge was MVP this year, but or whatever, but Soto's like right there, or Stan's right there. At what point do we look at this award and just go, it's a popularity contest? Because it really is. It's no longer really about who actually is the most valuable player.
Yeah, I mean it's been a popularity contest for a while. I feel like it's not really about who plays to the highest level, especially like defensively. They don't factor in defense anymore. It seems like it's just who has the most home runs and the best OPS, and then that's who they select. And when you say it's basically a popularity contest now, it literally is. It's fan voting plus like league selected voters.
And it needs to stop being fan voting, because even with the All-Star game, minus the exception of Kansas City when they just won the World Series, if you don't play for a big market team, you're not getting on there. Like, What did we have a couple of years ago? Josh Naylor was killing it in Cleveland, just as an example. Jared Walsh just came back from injury and was beating him out for votes. How is that possible when Jared Walsh had a 1.15 batting average and Naylor had a 300 plus at the time? It's because he has a lot more votes coming from LA, Anaheim. We need to stop with the fan voting. I'm sorry. Or if you're going to factor it in, like 10-15% of it needs to go towards it.
I think it is like a small factor of it, and majority comes from the league selected voters.
Well, it needs to be based on actual like non-biased writers too, because if you look at it, a lot of these writers do come from Boston and New York and LA. They're not coming from Kansas City or Miami and doing voting, and that's a problem to me. But we had just talked about one of the greatest Cleveland players to ever play center field being at the very bottom of MVP voting options for betting on FanDuel. Any guesses on who it is?
Before you answer, the special guest has arrived. I want to include in the comment, though, one more time. Cam saw it. Shout out to my mom for watching.
I assume that was your mom. What's up, Robin?
How we doing?
Right. The real special guest. That's just the sub-special guest, I guess.
I was right. I know I'm right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we now present to you, all together as a combined unit, the Kings of the Corner.
Let's go!
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
How we doing? Are you preparing that squirrel?
It's prepared, ready to go.
Patrick the Squirrel Hunter, he shall be known as.
How's everybody?
Fantastic.
Good, man.
Avi ended up showing a plate. Pat ended up getting in here right on time.
Let's go.
I was trying to get on from the computer, but the computer was having issues. So
if you're trying to use this service on Safari, it doesn't work well, so you have to use Chrome. I don't know if that's
okay. That's what I was using, but it happens.
Whatever. You're here.
But Cam, do you want to ask your question one more time? Since Pat joined us.
Well, let him know what we were talking about.
Yes. So
I have the image still.
You do. So I'm going to bring up two things. One is what I said at the beginning of the
Nope,
show that
you don't.
Avi did not. That Avi did not. What you don't? Okay. Avi did not hear because he was not here on time, so he will hear this. But who at the very bottom right, worst? He's got the worst odds to win MVP. But there is a former Cleveland center fielder who is at the very bottom of betting on DraftKings for MVP. Who do you think it is?
We're back.
A former Cleveland center fielder
It was the worst odds
win
MVP this year.
MVP.
But you can bet on him. It'll be like Vegas taking your money.
Yeah. Why is Miles Straw on there?
Is it Miles Straw?
Why is Miles Straw on there?
I had the same
Damn,
question.
you're too quick.
Miles
How
Straw.
did you even see that?
I got quick eyes, brother.
He's got laser eyes. He's like a laser eye Barry over here.
That doesn't
Miles
make sense.
Straw.
Andy Ibanez kind of makes sense. He's actually playing well for the Tigers right now, but Miles Straw?
Well, I brought up, look at how low Kerry Carpenter is on there. That's diabolical.
Him having the same odds as John Kenzie Noel is pretty nuts because
That's
Kerry Carpenter has
diabolical.
5 home runs already this year.
Killing it.
Manzardo, Stephen Kwan. That's for all the Guardians haters out there. That isn't even. That's why we got into the conversation with Jose. Is the fact that you have 4 people on the MVP race because you know Jose's odds are way better than the 3 that they listed.
Man, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we kicked off the show here. I talked about how it's kind of funny that if you are religious and you follow, the Easter and it being Palm Sunday and everything like that, it's funny that one of the holy days, quote unquote, that some people might follow is the last game that Avi will be a Cleveland fan because as soon as that clock hits midnight, he's like Darth Vader and joining the evil empire.
Darth Vader.
Going to the pinstripes.
Yeah.
For three
3 days.
6 games, 3 days, but
One
6
of
days
those
total
being
will be
my
hating him,
birthday.
which is
That's
also
where I
very
have a
messed up.
problem.
He can't wear Yankee stuff on his birthday. Come on, man.
Just don't wear Yankee shit. You don't
Just
even
wear a white
Guardians.
t-shirt. White t-shirt. Call
No,
it
wear a
neutral.
red t-shirt.
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
But I will
White
say,
t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I will
You'll draw
say,
pinstripes on it though, with no name. You bastard.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Cam and I did meet Avi at the Yankee series last year.
It's true.
So-
our friendship began with me wearing Yankees jerseys, and look at where we are now. So
Now, to be fair, I thought you were only in town for 3 games, and I didn't have to see you. I'm kidding.
Here for 3
But no.
games, going home.
you guys know
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an asshole. That's for sure. And if any other Yankees fans are being assholes, I'm going to tell them to shut the hell up, or we're going to have a problem. So
There will be no roll call this year. No.
No,
We will not start a roll call. We will boo until you can't hear anything.
I don't think we did do a roll call last year.
That
They
it happened
tried.
last year. They tried it.
tried.
We shut it down immediately.
You know what's funny about that game when you guys met Avi? Because that was more than a year ago now.
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah.
And it was last weekend. And I'm looking at my Facebook memories because I'm one of the old folk that still use Facebook. I know
Shout
some
out,
people
Bobby.
in our friend group hate Facebook. But I was on the opposite side. I didn't even claim my territory yet in right field. I was on the other side just enjoying standing room. And I'm like, why am I over here? In
Yeah.
reality, I missed out on meeting Avi, Cam, Pat. Eventually, hot dogs brought us together.
Well,
Not
everything happens
spicy
for-
though. Not spicy.
Dude.
Spicy brought us together in a different way.
The hatred.
The hatred for spicy.
I don't
I'm
even
waiting
know
in the
what
box.
brought us to hate her, other than the fact that we were expecting something really cool out of the box, and then they just gave us a bad hot dog. We're like,
We
oh,
did
Back in the box.
And then it's a bad hot dog.
I
Did not
that's
need to
why.
add to that.
He's
Yeah, I think that's even more so what it is, Patrick, is that the hot dog race was great as it was.
It's
Why do
3.
we need more hot dogs?
Spicy mustard. It's not even a condiment that we use at the stadium.
I know.
I would have rather had foil as another mascot to go with it. That would have made more
Foil,
sense.
ball of tinfoil.
But like
But
the thing is that like I don't understand why spicy mustard has to be a thing. This is what everybody missed out on. We were gone for a week. We were literally last week at the stadium every day bitching about a condiment. That's what you missed out on while we weren't doing a show.
a 30-year-old condiment too.
Literally, spicy mustard is the biggest opening day surprise. And it turns out it's a condiment that nobody wanted. But I think it's the factor that you already knew that like there could have been some kind of build-up suspense that there was something cool. Instead, you get a hot dog again, but now you can't even chant "Let's go mustard" because people might go, "Is it spicy or is it regular? Which mustard are they rooting for?" So now you have to specify that spicy sucks.
Also,
Spicy.
the name
Does
just
suck.
spicy. That could mean anything. That could mean hot sauce. That could mean, but they're just naming it spicy.
Yeah, they definitely did
rather-
not take their time with this.
I would have rather had relish, to be honest with you.
Dude,
That would have been,
I
it would have been
guarantee
much
you,
better.
other fans around the league would watch this and be like, "I think Cleveland fans might be special." They're really having a full blown argument over a condiment. Hot
They're
dog
definitely
right now.
making them at night.
They're making them at night.
Definitely making them at night. So good.
That's hilarious.
But we were go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was gonna say we were talking about Cleveland, there's no place like home. Cleveland, there's no place like home is the name of the show today. Stat wise, Cleveland is second in ERA for pitching. They are 23rd in away games. They have only given up 9 earned runs in their homestand so far this year, and they are 26 in away games. So, kind of true. There is no place like home when you're talking baseball with Cleveland because we're killing it at home. But what needs to change for us to get it going on the road? I mean, tonight's a good opportunity to show that with Charlie Morton and his 8+ ERA. Hoping to God he doesn't have a Luis Ortiz game.
Yeah, right. I'll jump in real quick and give my opinion on it. I honestly think the guards like needed this homestand as like a get right week. Starting on the road is always tough, especially with a West Coast stint coming right after playing your division rival. Like they played the Royals really well to start the year, and then you go and play arguably the best team in the MLB right after that.
Yeah.
Not even arguably. We looked at it. The Padres are undefeated at home, which is
Right.
insane.
You can't be mad at getting swept by the Padres. They've literally swept every team that has come to their ballpark.
They're better than the Dodgers, and I don't think a lot of people seen that coming this year. And I'll get into that, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see down the road how it goes, but they're shot out of a cannon to start the season. And the reality is, we can't be angry at the fact that we had a rough start to the year. Even though we lost a few games at the Angels, they are playing out of their minds for the roster that they have. And then we come back home and we play a really, really tight 2 series in terms of, clean fielding, timely hitting, all the things that we didn't have in those 2 series on the West Coast. We had those at home in those kind of get right series. So I think this will be a telling week for us. I mean, Cam, this is that time that we were talking about, 3 weeks into the season, we're going to know where we stand. And this end of this week is really where we find out where we stand.
I mean, you could have a bounce back with Boston the following weekend, considering how bad their pitching's been. Payton just, wanted to give me a kick to the nuts and text me that his player hit another home run. Good thing we're not facing each other this week. We're done on that. However,
you got Pepio going tonight, right?
No, I dropped Pepio.
You dropped Pepio.
Dropped Pepio
James
for
Wood hit a
Bubich.
homer.
He's going to go like 8 scoreless now. Just watch.
Well, I'm kind of hoping not. But no, Pepio got dropped. I did make a mistake and pick up Easton Lucas yesterday, who got shelled by Arizona or the Braves. pitcher for the Blue Jays, who had pretty good 2 back-to-back starts and then decided to give me -1. So shout out there. No, we got some good pitching matchups and stuff like that. Specifically with Cleveland, though, this would be your bounce back here because you do have Charlie Morton with a 0-3 record, 8.78 ERA tonight for the Orioles, and then tomorrow you get Dean Kramer, 1-2 record, 8.16 ERA with Gavin Williams on the mound tomorrow for us, and then Sunday will be a good one. You got Sagano with a 1-1 record, 3.86 ERA, and then Tanner Bybee, our ace, hitting the mound. So if you could take 2 or 3 from the Orioles, I'll be very happy with that.
And that's doable. Would you guys?
Very
say?
doable.
I would agree.
Yeah.
We played him well. We played him well all last year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, John Kenty Noel, first career at bat, first career home run.
Right off
in Camden Yards.
Dead center.
Yeah, that was great. I was there for that. It was wild.
So I just got a notification on this one. We talked about catchers and Bo Naylor and how we're feeling about that a little bit. Dom Nunez just crushed a 380-foot 2-run homer off the bat at 100.9 miles per hour in the second for his second home run of the year.
Wow.
What is the
time frame? Yeah, what is the time frame on Bo Naylor going down at this point? Because if he can't figure it out, what do we do?
I really think we have to give him maybe a couple more months up here this year.
Okay.
He's young. We've never produced a good catcher through our system in the last probably 10 years. Like, when was the last time that we could say that the Indians/Guardians had a elite or like very good catcher behind the plate?
Gomes?
Probably when Santana. Gomes was all right. I would say when Santana was behind the plate, but then again, he backed up. He was the next catcher after Victor Martinez, so
right,
it's been a while.
I think we just give him a little bit more time. I mean, he's playing a little bit better than what he was playing at the beginning of last year.
Okay.
I think he just needs the repetitions. I honestly believe that his brother being off the team might help him.
I agree.
Just kind of lock in. But I mean, we kind of look at his. I'm looking at his stats right now, just like away games. I think he needs to be a little bit more patient at the plate.
What's Bo's average right now?
Like 116.
Let's look. Bo is batting a 188.
Okay.
Okay.
So to be fair,
you
brought up Dom Nunez. Dom Nunez, if we were going to swap out him for Bo Naylor, right? Dom is 30 years old. Bo is like 23, 24.
Okay.
Dom is batting a lower batting average than Bo in AAA.
Okay.
And only has 1 home run on the season.
He just hit a second. Yeah, just hit a second. So again, this is the reason I'm bringing this up is because, yes, he's a little bit older. David Fry came up when he was 27, 28.
Right.
Okay. So you got to take that into effect. But like we were talking about, Manzo got sent down last year, came back up after a few months. Maybe that's what Bo needs. Maybe Bo needs that little bit of a jolt in AAA and go, this is a little too easy for me. I need to go back to the majors. Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the issue is, even if you want to call it an issue, it's a good problem to have finally, is what's something that national media is doing when Bo Naylor isn't catching? They're posting about Austin Hedges.
Yeah, they're hyping him up a lot.
And I literally saw a clip on Twitter the other day about Austin Hedges just framing every pitch and just how quick of a movement it is. And he's just turning balls that are slightly outside of the zone into a strike. I think that's why we've kind of turned sour on Bo Naylor, is that Hedges, we know what he brings to the table. We know that he doesn't end up having the greatest stick, but defensively, you want to have him any single time that you can. And when national media ends up giving you coverage of a guy that is underwhelming as a hitter, you want to end up seeing him out there more often because you're not seeing Bo Naylor throw out guys. You're not seeing Bo Naylor frame pitches the same way. I mean, Bo Naylor's usually not squeezing wild pitches.
So
And
Bo Naylor, before he came up here, was known for his offense.
Yeah.
That was the main reason everyone wanted him up here. His defense has some moments. He did have some good moments. Bo's pretty good at framing, throwing people out, not as good as Hedges, but it just sucks when you have a guy that was hitting 300 almost every year, 280, 300 almost every time he was in the minors. Below 200 every year. I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
Get off Twitter.
Going to be like his first real full year. I mean, last year, I think he was on the opening day roster and he was the opening day starter, but this is kind of his time to prove himself. And I think time will tell with him. Give him some more time and hopefully, hopefully
he split reps.
I'm not. Well,
what that comes with.
He split reps, but he split reps with two other catchers. I mean, he was splitting reps with David Fry and Austin Hedges. So he didn't really get the playing time he should have been getting last year.
Well, it's kind of hard too when you have guys like Shane Bieber and Matthew Boyd that are like, no, Hedges is our catcher.
Right.
Like when you have a pitcher that well, it's hard to avoid that. When you're not gonna tell your ace pitcher or your starting pitcher who's going to be out there for hopefully 6-7 innings. Yeah, no, we're not going to give you the catcher you're comfortable with. You're just not going to do that. And that's very unfortunate for Bo.
That opens the door for Bo Naylor pinch hit in late innings in those same games, which has worked out in the past. I mean, I remember games, I think it was 2 seasons ago, Bo's first season in the majors, Bo pinch hitting late in the game, hitting go-ahead home. I think he hit 1 or 2 go-ahead home runs like late in the season.
It was 2
pinch hit at bats.
He did at a grand slam last year too.
And I mean, that's the kind of at bats that we should expect this season from Bo Naylor. And I don't want to jump on his case early in the season when he's played well behind the dish, and while he hasn't been producing like we expect early on, like I think he'll have at some point he's going to go on a run where he hits a few home runs and has like a bats like 400 for a week, and his batting average is going to bump up to 250 real quick.
Yeah, I was just kind of asking more time range. Like for me, it's end of June, beginning of July. If he doesn't figure it out by then, it's like, okay, well,
I get you.
You got halfway through the season, it's not figuring it out, but
maybe push him down and bring him up for the playoffs.
So I was listening. I was listening to 92.3 The Fan earlier today too, and they actually brought Rick Manning on to talk about Cleveland and how he thinks his baseball team is going. He is throwing alarms at right field.
Well,
it sounds like he is not convinced that either Noel or Nolan Jones is the answer in right field.
I still think Silly Willie, man, I love him. You guys know I love him.
Yeah, it's either him or Valera once he comes back. I know Payton brought him up a couple weeks ago.
I would love to see Valera, dude. Watching that dude hit home runs in Progressive Field would be so much fun. He hits tanks.
Payton, would you be happy with Valera?
I mean, with Valera, I don't know. Like, I think, like I said, Chase DeLauder should have been the guy this year, but because he got hurt, he can't be. But with Valera, I mean, with the right field situation, you're keeping one of the two of John Kenzie Noel or Nolan Jones, and you're sending down the other. There's Avi with his cards. But
Valera, or is that DeLauder?
The other one's going to stay in majors
nice.
One way or another. And the other person, if Will Brennan gets called up, he's going to end up having Nolan Jones or John Kenzie on the other side. I don't see them only just strictly having one right fielder, even with Angel Martinez on the roster now being able to be a utility guy. But at the same time, that could be your answer for right field when Lane Thomas gets back.
Well,
Angel Martinez needs to keep it up.
I was going to actually bring that up. I really do think when Lane Thomas comes back, he shifts back to right field.
Angel?
No, Lane.
Lane to right field. And we keep
Correct.
Angel Martinez in center.
Who has a better arm though? Is it Thomas or is it on? I think Angel has the better arm because he played third.
I think they both have similar arms.
Yeah, I agree.
Arm strength, and they can make the throws. But I really think that if you want to solidify the right field position, you have to keep Martinez in center field when Lane Thomas comes back and put him in right. Because we need more we need consistency there, and I think Lane Thomas offers that.
You know what, Payton? Pull up the MLB The Show stats. Show me who has a better arm in MLB The Show.
On it.
No, I'm kidding. So the other thing I wanted to bring up with you guys, since we'll talk a little bit more baseball and kind of wrap it up here. The NL West is going to have 3 teams in the playoffs this year. Do we believe that?
I mean, probably, right?
Padres are 14-3, Dodgers and Giants. Well, Giants are 12-4. Dodgers are 12-6, and then the sleeper here is Diamondbacks are 9-7. They're not far off.
Diamondbacks are also decent. I don't know if the Giants keep up the run that they're on. I mean, it's possible, but it seems like they're playing over their roster potential right now.
I can definitely see it. They have 4 very strong teams, but I don't think 3 teams are getting in from the West.
It's going to be interesting because even the teams that usually didn't contend in years past would usually end up still managing to get there. Like the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, they're even a couple of guys that might be able to make it in. Not so much the Rockies because they're struggling like no other, but the Diamondbacks, they're usually in the fight by the time you end up talking about October.
Yeah.
I mean, as of right now, the Phillies are tied with the Diamondbacks in win percentage. Now, I know it's early, but the Phillies are struggling.
Right now, yeah. But I think the division we're forgetting about and why the NL West will not have 3 teams is the NL Central.
Really?
The NL Central has always been, I mean, it's just like the AL Central. They're very, very good teams that contend. And we're talking about the Cubs, who are off to a really good start this year.
Yep.
I think the Cardinals have the roster to make a huge playoff push for the year as long as they can stay healthy. And to be honest with you, the Reds aren't playing bad.
The Reds are playing well, man.
The Reds were one of those teams last year where you really thought that they could make a run and get into the postseason.
The Reds' biggest question mark is going to be, can their starting rotation be healthy? Because every year Hunter Green hits the IL for at least 10 to 15 days.
Right.
They usually have McLean, who's currently hurt right now. You know, that's a big blow for them. Edwin Encarnacion Strand has been hurt for them. They do add more stability with Gavin Lux, who has been pretty durable, but it's a matter. And then now they got Brady Singer, who looks like to actually be a 1A, 1B ace with Hunter Green. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. They've got some guys coming up too that could be really good starting rotation pitchers. I don't know if they're going to end up coming up this year. One of the highlight names there is Chase Petty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of comparisons of him to Paul Skeens. They say he's like the Paul Skeens that never went to college because he's just been in the minor leagues for 4 or 5 years.
Guess where he's from, guys? Really quick. Hurry up. Avi mentioned it without mentioning it.
What, Chase Petty?
Yeah.
Isn't he from like Florida?
He's a Jersey guy.
Oh, he's from Jersey, really?
He's from Jersey.
And then also
Chase Jersey
too. It's another one that's probably not too far away for the
Chase
Reds.
Burns. Yeah.
You know, you keep talking about how they could have all these guys ready to go. It almost makes me feel like the Cincinnati Reds might be the Cleveland of 2025. Like how we kept bringing like how we last year we just kept bringing guys up, sending them down, bringing guys up, sending them down. I think Cincinnati could do that. Now, if they do that, I'll be mind blown because again, it is Tito Francona.
I was going to say
he doesn't like his young guys, but if they pull that, they could potentially. I mean, Francona could have been looking at what Vogt did and goes, "Okay, maybe I do have to switch it up a little bit."
Yeah.
Old
And,
dog
I mean, it's a
doesn't
new
learn
team
new
for 'em.
tricks, though.
They can. If you hit them long enough. No, I'm just kidding.
Yo,
We do not condone
Wow.
animal violence on this show.
Unless it's squirrels.
That's the only exception.
Nice.
On another note, because there's so much to talk about, there's only so little time. First thoughts and only thoughts for the Cavs going into this weekend. First game Sunday.
Like, what's up with everything being on Easter, dude?
I don't know.
There's
I
like
Welcome to sports.
6 major events being on Easter.
I don't know.
WrestleMania, the NBA playoffs, the baseball game,
There's a lot.
Masters.
Masters was last weekend.
I know Pat was wearing his green sweatshirt.
Oh.
Oh. Green
Celebrate
jacket,
the Masters a little bit. Yeah, no worries.
I know.
I was gonna say though, I'm just worried that they're gonna come out flat like they did last year and the year before. You know, that's what
They
scares me with the
can't.
Cavs. They just
But
come out
can't.
flat. So we'll see. We'll see if they do. We'll see if they don't. We'll know pretty quick. That's for sure.
Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, very
Not
true.
gonna lie. Any final thoughts, guys, besides next Monday? I think we might be able to do it just because I get out of work at 3, games at 6:10. I already mentioned before anybody joined, we're probably going to be doing the shows on Mondays now. How are we feeling about a show at the park for like maybe a half
We'll
hour?
show at the park we'll do a show from like 5 to 5:45 or something like that, basically till the national anthem.
I like it.
Yeah,
can do
I have an idea, but we'll talk about that off the air for that show.
We got to make sure to all bring headphones so
I will,
so
yeah.
people can hear us.
Yeah, for sure. I have mine in my car usually. So,
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
any other thoughts though before we end up wrapping up and joining back next Monday? Will Avi's the mortal enemy?
We'll shut his camera off. Don't you worry.
I'll just control it from my phone.
Just stand right next to him every time you're like, "Hey, no," and just hit it.
Why do that when I could just do it from my own phone? I'll confuse him. He's a
Go
Yankees
Guards.
fan.
This is their new celebration, by the way. I don't know if you guys have picked up. No, it's for some reason they have the hand like this.
Like very close. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
I don't know about it, but
So like a Jonathan India mocker. I don't like. What are we doing here?
no, that would be.
Oh,
Well, the
Very
good
nice.
news with Pat joining us, we didn't end up getting canceled by any means. Because
thank
with
you for keeping
Bobby,
it PG.
It's a completely
Oh,
different
yeah.
story.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna ask like what's the language barrier on this, but I was
Just-
like,
we
let
do
me
a
just
little
not say
cussing.
anything.
The
We do a
complete
little
opposite of
cussing.
what Bobby says.
We're keeping
okay.
it mellow today because Robin's watching.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's going to end up getting some pointers later on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll get a couple calls or texts here soon. Thumbs up,
But-
everyone. It was a good show.
Good
On
show.
that
good
note,
show.
Monday, we'll see you. Pat, are you there or are you joining on the phone on Monday?
I work downtown on Mondays, so I will be at the game.
There you
All
go.
All
right.
see
Bring
me.
your headphones if you got them.
Well,
The
I will
core
be there.
All right.
The Core 4 will be at you live next Monday from Progressive Field. We'll see you then. I'm Peyton Vince. That's Sports Boy Cam at Avi Ehrlich that way and at Patrick W because he doesn't want you to know his last name.
Oh, see, I didn't know it was given Patrick the Kid. Come on. That's me.
Patrick the Kid.
Patrick the